following that story for us. Dasen, good afternoon to you. So what emerged in court today? It was all very brief from what I gather.
Well, not as brief as it normally would be for a first appearance, Jeremy, and that's because Sibonelo Mkhize had a few complaints, and there was lots of consultation with his legal aid lawyer. Now, this relates to an alleged assault by the officers who had arrested him, and officers at the station. He claims that he was beaten. He also was very unhappy with the fact that he had to sleep on the floor without a blanket in the holding cell. So there was some time to consult where he told his lawyer that he refuses to stay on at the holding cells and instead wants to be at the Westphal prison until his next court appearance. Now, he'll be back in court tomorrow while his address details are being verified, and then he'll be back in court again next week, 7 days from his appearance tomorrow. But what came out of court, Jeremy, was that the charges that are leveled against him is 2 charges of murder, kidnapping, as well as theft. And the second charge of murder was a bit of a point of confusion for those that were in court. The one we know relates to Sadia Sukhraj, and the second relates to an unknown person. And although there was nothing in court that came out to identify who that person is, there has been some speculation that could relate to his accomplice in that hijacking on Monday. You know that the second hijacker was found dead. Police say that he wasn't shot and they were trying to establish the cause of death, and there was some speculation around whether he was in fact beaten to death by the community. We're still waiting for those answers, but 2 counts of murder against Sibonelo Mkhize.
Dasen, I want to get to the community response in just a moment, but what is crucial to this investigation as well is who in fact fired the fatal shot, and that is what forensic personnel are working very closely on, I would imagine. That will be key to any trial.
Indeed, and I think it's also something that police have been quite tight-lipped about. I asked Brigadier J. Naika of the Provincial SAPS that direct question yesterday during an interview, and I asked him who shot little Sadia, and they can't answer that. They keep saying that it forms part of their investigation, and they'll, have to wait for forensics results and ballistics tests and so on. And at this point, I think they're just treading very carefully. So that's also something that we'll wait to come out in court. But just by virtue of Sibonelo Mkhize being charged with murder, it also gives the indication that the state might know more than the police are actually letting on.
And now back to the community itself. It's a community that is increasingly angry about rampant crime in the area and all sorts of calls for even the army to be deployed. This is going to be something, I imagine, that will continue for some time.
Definitely. This seems to be what was the final straw for this community. They say that they've been affected by high crime rates for a long time, and when they saw the circumstances under which little Sadia died on Monday, they felt that they had to act. And that's exactly what they did. They acted on Monday night by protesting outside the police station. Now, some community leaders say that their anger seems to be a little misdirected because now there seems to be an attack on police and the policing system in the area. That was also in contrast to the next night, where there was a candlelight vigil that was held at the court. About 500 people came through for that. There was also meant to be a protest at the Chatsworth Magistrate's court this morning. So you'll see that there's a lot of community activism, a few meetings being held. There's one today, there's another one tomorrow as well, where the community now wants to discuss a way forward. They want to get police involved, they want government intervention. And speaking of government intervention, Jeremy, that's why we are here at the moment. The Community Safety MEC Mxolisi Kaunda is actually at the family home, the Sukhraj family home, which is just off to my right, and he's meeting with the family. Comes after a meeting at the police station this morning. He spent a few hours engaging with management there to see what plan they have to address these concerns.